Hello, 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 and welcome to the Loudcast. It is still our NaPoWriMo specials. We are still in lockdown. I don't know if it counts as a lockdown special after this many weeks, but here we are. I am your host, Kevin McLean. I'm joined, as always, by my wonderful flatmate, Mr. Perry Johnson, our other wonderful flatmate, the amazing Katie Ailes.
Hello.
And from a remote location in Leith, the one, the only, Beck Sherwood, and her risen from the dead best friend, Mark Galley. How are you guys doing this week?
He's back. He's alive.
He's still alive. You've made it 2 weeks in a row, Galley. You should be proud of yourself.
So proud.
So I'll start with you guys. How are you doing this week? How was it for you, Bex?
It's good. 30 days, 30 poems, piece of cake, mate. No bother. Sorted.
Wow.
Big words.
Bex brings the same attitude she brings to everything to NaPoWriMo. I love it, Bex.
Smashed it, mate.
Galley, how has your week been?
30 days, 30 poems. It was very close calls this week on like one of the last days, but got it in there before midnight, so it counts.
Got it in. Nice. Good job. So it's been a decent one for you. Katie, how has your week been?
It was okay. I caught up a little bit. I think I'm still 7 days behind. So I'm writing into May.
Yeah, what I really respect about Kate is that NaPoWriMo was to write every day in April, but me and Kate took it a different way, which is it's to write 30 poems.
Yeah.
When they get done, that's not really the point,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, so it's now NaPo April.
Rimo
Oh no,
point
there's no
two.
April in MaPoWriMo.
Yeah, NaPoWriMo 2.0. So I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. I wrote some poems.
I'm 2 behind. I've got 2 still
It's
to do.
better than 7.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah, Y and Z, they screwed me. But,
Yep.
Perry, how has your week been?
Can I first just check, Mark? Are you being completely honest that you've finished 30 poems? Because we haven't seen a lot of evidence of that. I just wanted to,
Saying
if
you
there's
don't
ever a
trust
time
me,
that you
Johnson?
wanted to confess, now would be it. And there'll be no hard feelings.
There
lot
would
of
be hard
hostility.
feelings.
Ooh, Perry.
I did notice though that Mark hasn't answered that question. He's
Oh
been
no,
diverted
I have very
from
much
it.
written 30. I don't know if they're all called poems. I've written 30 things that you could call freeform poems at a stretch, but there have been 30 things written within those 30 days.
Right,
Try and welch out of this now, Johnson.
Okay, no. I'm just saying if there ever was a time to, confess, now would be it. And not because I don't want to be hypocritical. I did not finish poems. So I have lost our bet, Mark.
Welcome to our Flats
Our flat
Failure
sucks.
Club.
Yes, failure flat.
I literally just signed to Mark that we were victory flat when you guys were comparing your failures earlier, so...
Yeah.
Victory!
So when did you
All
slip,
that
Perry?
and time
I
to
do-
murder Mark. How do I do it?
I do also just need to say, if you have not done every day of NaPoWriMo, you are not a failure.
No.
We have a different
No,
thing
yeah.
going on. So all good if you're watching this.
Yes.
And Perry's not a failure. He does many other good things, but he's not as good as Mark, and that's what's clear. So,
I don't know. We haven't seen his poems.
When did you slip? Yeah, Mark's we'll get to what he
I slipped on why. I went to bed.
so close.
I went to bed and realized it was 30 minutes past midnight, and I went, I could write a poem now, but it would just not be right. So and when I'd lost to Mark, I had no other incentive to keep writing. So I just gave up.
You just stopped it. Why?
Yeah.
I was wondering because I hadn't seen your post and I just thought you were being secretive. You just stopped.
You had one of the Insta days after why?
Yeah, he did ellipsis. He just
I did
didn't
ellipsis.
talk all day.
I didn't talk all day, but I alluded it to ending at like 11:30 at night, just like ellipses, silence, and then we need to talk. And then I turned off because that was my little...
Wow.
Perry, you psychopath.
So, Mark, could you explain to us what was your and Perry's agreement here?
Right, so I will use... That's amazing. I will use the new criteria of party A and party B replaced with me and Perry. So the bet was that the loser, i.e. Perry, in this circumstance, would have to plan the winner, me, Mark, on a lovely little mandate, but he was going to have to wear a
Aw.
T-shirt of my face, and I pick the picture.
Ooh.
Well, guys, when the world one day returns to normal and Mark and Perry can be reunited face to face, we will absolutely make sure there are some photos or some video footage of their wonderful date that I'm sure Mark will enjoy significantly more than Perry. But you know what, Perry? Good job on the honesty. Respect.
All I'm saying is, Mark better put out.
Mark, can you put out that T-shirt on our Redbubble?
Oh!
See, they're having fun, and I'm doing the plug.
Yeah, we do have a Redbubble where we sell t-shirts. You can see a link for that below in the description, and I think we could perhaps sell a sexy Mark t-shirt.
Yeah. I'll get a lot of demand.
Anyway, moving on from Mark and Perry's weird love for each other. This week we also had a challenge.
How did you do this week?
Oh, my week was fucking, same as all the other weeks, innit? I wrote poems, I slept. What do you want from me? I don't know. I just, the time pauses between me doing this. I'm alive now! So,
That does explain a lot. Yeah.
moving on to the challenges.
How have we gone mad in 7 minutes?
It's this only been going 7 minutes? Jesus. So we did have challenges in place. You guys voted. Thank you. We got a bunch of votes. It was really nice. We love it when you engage with the thing. It's nice to see what weird shit you want us to get up to. And this week, you wanted us to write a TV poem. So a poem based off of TV titles, and I think that was
me. Thank you for picking my weird challenge.
So I think it is only fair then that Katie gives us her one.
Yes. Are we going to say the name of the TV show, or are we going
Let's do guesses after it.
Guesses after.
Amongst the group.
Cool.
And then we'll...
Cool.
Yeah. Good.
Sweet, right.
Katie first up.
Yeah. Every word in this is a TV... as an episode title from the TV show. There are no additional words. Hero, lay down your burdens. Resistance, unfinished business, precipice, no exit. Faith, sometimes a good notion. A measure of salvation. Dirty hands, water. Occupation, exodus. He that believeth in me, someone to watch over me. The passage home, the road less traveled, daybreak islanded in a stream of stars, rapture. So yeah, that's what.
Very nice.
That's
Very
what
nice.
I got.
All right, it's guessing time. Perry, what do you think that was?
Battlestar Galactica.
I mean, I'm not going to guess because I know. Mark, what do you think?
NCIS. I don't know what Katie watches.
That's just because that's all Katie watches.
All she watches.
Bex?
Outlander. I don't think it's that, but I'm going to say it because I know that the girls will watch it, and apparently I need to.
The girls do all watch Outlander. Katie, it was?
It was Battlestar. Yeah.
Ding ding for Perry. And that brings us nicely on to Perry. Give us your TV poem, Per.
I'm still trying to find it. Can you jump to someone else?
Absolutely.
Because again, I didn't write this week, so I technically don't have a TV poem, but I did write one before that I haven't read.
Right,
That's true. That's true.
While he's figuring out whatever's been going on in Perry's life, Mark, have you got a TV poem for us, bud?
I do indeed, and I've got mine ready if you want it.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Right, okay. So, same as Katie, all of the words in here are titles, there's nothing extra. Come along with me, rainy day daydream, beyond this earthly realm, astral plane, evergreen, elemental, frost and fire, earth and water, the wild hunt, the witch's garden, vault of bones, the chamber of frozen blades, one last job. City of thieves, the eyes, whispers, the mountain, the tower, the pit, in your footsteps. Belly of the beast, the red throne, the lich, red starved. Is that you? What have you done? Wake up, be more. Who would win? I am the sword, death in bloom, blade of grass, loyalty to the king, the silent king. Shh. No one can hear you. Escape from the citadel, beyond the grotto, dungeon. Dad's dungeon. And that's it.
Wow, jeez, Mark, that's crazy. I'm gonna guess because I think I know. I think it's the Last Airbender.
I was gonna say that. That's the only anime thing that I know.
Yeah, Perry.
I don't think it's Last Airbender.
Escape from the Citadel.
It was the water, air, fire bit that got
Yeah,
me.
yeah,
But we
yeah.
just
What
need
is
guesses.
Escape from the
We just
Citadel?
need
I'm
guesses.
just gonna go random anime.
Random anime.
Yep.
Paris, give it up.
Bex.
I know Mark loved Dragon Ball Z, so maybe it's that.
Oh yeah.
Mark, what is the answer?
The answer, and you'll all kick yourselves, is Adventure
Is it
Time.
Game of-
Oh shit!
Oh, Adventure Time!
I literally thought folk would get it from the first line, Come Along With Me, which is the name of the last episode in Adventure Time.
Wow.
Yeah, good job, good job.
Well done.
All right, Bex, while we're at the remote location in Leaf.
Yeah. Again, you can guess. I did use additional words in mine. If you don't like it,
Which
Oh,
is
wow.
totally okay.
yeah. You can not like it all you want, but I'm not losing any sleep over it. Anyway. I walk the king's road, a man without honor through fire and blood, a sign of wars to come. First, I was no one. Now I am death, the first of his name. Taking my walk of punishment through a garden of bones, I uphold the laws of gods and men, the spoils of war, the company I keep through the long night. And yet when I hear the bells, I know that two swords will clash. Dark wings, dark words lead to dark deeds. Unbowed, unbent, unbroken, and now his watch has ended. They climb to glory, taking to flight like a high sparrow, but watching from the mockingbird. Promising glory in these games, but you win or you die. And if you die, you join the children, following me into the Blackwater abyss, your new home.
Good job, Bex. And
think
all
we all
together
know.
on 3, 1, 2, 3.
Game of
Thrones.
I was really tempted just to say
Fantastic.
Rick and Morty.
Perry, have you managed to find it?
I did manage to find it. Luckily, I remembered one of the words I had used there. So this is technically not TV shows, but it's on a very similar concept. This is titles of short films on the video platform Nowness, which is like an artsy video
I
platform.
mean, that is the Perry version of this
Yeah.
game, isn't it? Yeah.
Exactly. So this is E is for Elsewhere, a found poem of Nowness film titles. Hard Rain, Soft Core, Cass and Lex, Census, Skinship, Rate Me, Turbulence, Lovesick, The Look Elsewhere, His Sweat, Muay Thai, Thanks for the Dance.
Very nice, very nice.
Started off as a little sex thing there, and then, nope, Muay Thai.
Good fun. There's no guessing there, I guess.
Nope, sorry. I'm really annoyed actually because this was the section of the week I was most looking forward to. I really wanted to see the film titles. That's so my game. I really wanted to do that. The same with like ellipses, question mark, exclamation mark, all of them. I was like, I'm really excited to see what I can do with that. But then I failed, so I was like,
Join
no point.
us in NaPoWriMo.
No, it's over. I'm done.
Hey,
I've
hey.
lost.
No, you keep it going, Perry. Keep it going.
I won't give you the satisfaction, Mark.
Wow, it's gotten dark. I'm going to round us off with my TV poem. It's quite short. Love in vain, obsession, whatever it takes. A deal with the devil, captive hearts, cold comfort. The final decision, cold vengeance. The cure, courage. Come the apocalypse, sanctuary. Yeah.
I know it, but I'm gonna.
You
do
don't know exactly. You would never have guessed that.
But I'm gonna do a wrong guess just to make it spicy. Desperate Housewives.
Desperate Housewives. Nice. I do love Desperate Housewives
You
as
do.
a show.
You do.
I have no
Can
idea.
I guess?
Yeah, go
Yeah.
for Bex.
Can I guess Lucifer? I don't know whether it
that is a
is,
good
but it's
shout.
the kind
No,
of vibe that I was getting.
Yeah. Mark?
The Good Place.
The Good Place. Again, I see why you go for
No,
it.
I'll chuck something out. Sons of Anarchy.
Oh, no, you're just listening to great shows, though, people. It is X-Men, the animated series.
Thank you again for Disney Plus specs.
Yeah, it's the best.
Someone's been watching Disney Plus.
I have indeed. Time stops. I'll catch up on Gargoyles and X-Men. This commences again. Life is a new paradigm. So, moving on to this week of writing for NaPoWriMo, it went pretty well. I thought the prompts were really interesting. I thought after doing a lot of letters and being able to rely on picking out a word or whatever, actually getting into some of the punctuation marks, especially some of the punctuation, especially sort of picked some really weird stuff for me. Bex, how did you find this week in terms of prompts?
Yeah, it was good. I didn't rely too much on the prompts, but I did try and do a lot of poems that I'd had the idea to do at some point in April and hadn't got round to doing. So I kind of used it for like, okay, I need to actually write this poem that I've been meaning to write. But I did for Z or Z, depending on your preference, I did come up with something that I don't know whether it already exists as a poetry style or a form. I don't know, but I set myself a challenge. Can I share this? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Go for it.
So it was the day of Z, and I did an alphabet poem. So it's 26 words, and every word starts with a different letter of the alphabet, and you can only use like that letter to start the word once. So,
I've only seen this once before, and it's very cool. I saw someone do it at Soapbox, which was a student open mic night in Edinburgh years ago, and I was blown away by it. So yeah, this is exciting. Lay it on.
Okay.
Bex.
It was really hard, a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. Just as a heads up if anyone wants to try it. So, my written therapies: literary xylography, utilized nouns, verbs, adjectives, passing quietly. Feelings held, zones of joy, yearning, kindness, guilt, souls defined by each captured independent rhythm. Ooh.
That's cool. I love how much we've been leaning into like structure and challenges and weirdness this month.
I especially like that because I was actually expecting you to go.
A to Z.
Yeah. I think that's a much more interesting way to do it, to be able to piece them together. The only thing I can think of similar is I have a poem, Help, which is available on the channel. I'll link it up in the cards, which the letters disappear from it. I think stuff like, I find that sort of stuff fascinating, and what you can do with that visually. Like, I think that would make a really cool return to form piece, Bex. Similar to how we had before with the Razor McFraston pieces. Go and check the bubble.
So many plugs.
You would get so many different variations of that from different poets.
Yeah.
That's a really cool prompt. I like that poem as well. The poem itself is beautiful.
Well, you're all welcome.
Good job, Bex. Nice. Mark, did any of the prompts stand out to you this week? What have you been up to writing wise?
I really liked a lot of the prompts for this one because I knew this was going to kind of be the ones. I was most worried for the emoji one, but I got because I did all the challenges from the last podcast, and so the only one I had left on the last day was an emoji and Bex's challenge, which was women from history.
Oh, wow.
So it was
Yeah.
So then I had to find something that fit that, there were really, really fun ones in there. The one I'm more disappointed in myself for, and this is the day I nearly messed up, was day 27, which was the exclamation mark. Which there isn't an exclamation mark in it, but I feel like the feeling of anger comes across quite well in it.
What is your exclamation mark?
Oh my god!
Wow.
Question mark was Question mark was my most fun day on the socials because I thought that was a great pun, and I got two questions, one request, and one lovely person saying hello.
Oh, isn't that lovely? People were done with NaPoWriMo, I think.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so have you got a piece you wanna share with us?
Yeah, I'll share. And for this wasn't the one I was going to do, but for Perry, just because like the feeling like I felt this was the day where I nearly failed. So like for you, it was a close race, buddy. I just fuck. Me. Right. Well, there you go. This is me angry, Perry. So for you, I just fucking can't. It never asked me to save. Now it's fucking gone. It is a haiku, but I feel like it gets the feeling of definitely how I felt at the moment. You like authenticity? That is as authentic as I can get.
Yeah.
I did see that one come up, and I was like, that's not a hypothetical funny haiku. That's a sad end of the day haiku.
That's Mark just lost 2 hours of editing in one not being asked to save moment.
Dude, that's brutal.
Other than that, great fun though.
Just a little moment of silence there.
Yes, we all consider how we should just save everything. Have you got anything else you want to read with us, Matt? I feel like that's not the one to go out on these NaPoWriMo specials.
Yeah, no way. Well, what I'll do is I've alluded to it already. I'll read the one inspired by the emoji and women in history one.
Nice.
So I will tell you the emoji, and then I will tell you the fun reason afterwards for why. So the emoji, I had to really go through Facebook emojis for this, is a pair of crossed swords. Very on brand for me. So, and I do actually say the name of the two women from history in the poem, but it's Anne Bonny and Mary Read, who were badass female pirates. So here's my one from the last day. It was said they were bad luck, but for who? The open sea sight, endless blue hue, sharp, salty sharp smell cuts through scurvy ocean rocking rhythm. Thought the next ship sighted would be a welcome one, docked in distant harbour, symbol of the end, not like this. Cannons flash, call to arms, ship splinter, only option, surrender. Stood before mast and mercy, the cross swords, Anne Bonny, Mary Read, not that you would know. To you, these men look like all the other mercs turned marauders, malicious monsters, more so than most. Head down, no sound, maybe then, just maybe. The boat burns bright. Angry red everywhere, smoke replaces salt, depths below, little comfort. Had you fought like men, you need not die like dogs. Bad luck for us. And that was my...
Wow.
That's really cool.
That's really cool, Mark. I what's really interesting there as well is, I think, was it last week we were talking about assonance and stuff and those sort of sounds, and you have, I guess, been more of a similar to me, where you're more like end rhyme stuff, whereas in there was a lot of alliteration, there was a lot of sort of assonant words and stuff. I don't know if maybe a bit of what we were chatting about is filtered in there.
For sure, definite improvement over the month from sort of the stuff looking back at the start to the end, and it's like I've learned like quite a lot and been able to play with some new stuff, so that's super fun.
Yeah. I think that's a really interesting character choice as well, like female pirates.
I didn't know their names. Like I was aware of the existence of pirates.
Oh, the
can
interesting
be female.
fact.
What?
The link.
But yeah, I didn't know about those two specific women. So that's really, really cool.
What were you saying about the link?
Sorry, I was meant to say the link. So the reason that fits emoji is those crossed swords, and this is be a fun one again for the like sort of women history. So like anyone that's seen Pirates of the Caribbean and seen that particular version of the Jolly Roger, which is like the skull and crossbones, as it were, the two swords on that is from Calico Jack, who was also Anne Bonny and Mary Read's ship, but the cross swords were said to be representative of Anne Bonny and Mary Read respectively. They were the cross swords of the Jolly Roger.
Wow.
I love history.
That's so cool.
Yeah. Well, one of my favorite things that you do, Matt, like you've written quite a lot. I know we've had to, for various reasons, had to write some odd historical poems, and like your stuff on that is always killer, like in a way that I can't quite capture. Like my favorite, I've mentioned it before, is Kate Tempest with Tiresias and stuff. I think those sort of modern or at least contemporary language-wise retellings of old stories, there's a reason all these old stories endure. and like you track it back to Gilgamesh or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, the oldest oral story, or the first story ever written down. But there's a reason it's survived language change and country changes as the world has risen and fallen around it. These stories endure, and I find that fascinating. So speaking of Gilgamesh, I know you're a big fan of Baba Brinkman, Mark.
I was about to say, yeah.
Yeah, I would love to see you do, like, I know because you're into your rap stuff and your history stuff, it'd be quite cool to see if you could, do a little Baba Brinkman-esque something or other.
Well, I mean, I don't have a Gilgamesh rap, but if for the people that check out the bonus content on Patreon, I will be dropping one of my favorite ones from this month, which is a rap that I have done. So, no better time to sign up.
Yeah, Marcus makes an excellent point. The team are on fire today. We do have the Loudcast Extra, which is 15-20 minutes or so of extra footage from this podcast. I was doing some extra poems that we put out on the Patreon, and you get it for, I think it's $3 and above, which is pretty sweet, and it helps us a huge amount. So yeah, I'm now very excited for the Loudcast Extra. And
I am also rapping in the extra. Multiple rap battle. Oh my god, we can battle! Sorry.
Everyone dropping bars.
This is terrifying.
This is going to be fun. Cool. But speaking of history and women in history, I know, Kate, you've done a lot of writing this week on a woman in history, right?
I wasn't sure if I was going to bring it up. Yeah, so because I don't actually have any poems about it yet. Basically, so Bex said, let's write about famous women in history, and even though it wasn't picked as the challenge, I was like, I love doing this. One of my favorite things is updating myths, or even not updating them, but writing about mythical creatures, or that's what I did for our Halloween show, or mythical characters and stuff like that. So I went down a deep research rabbit hole on Helen of Troy. And you might know Helen of Troy as the face that launched 1,000 ships. She's the woman who is blamed for starting the Trojan War. Basically, she's with this dude, her husband, and then this dude, Paris, steals her, takes her to Troy, and then her husband's like, yo, I want my lady back. And then this 10-year-long war starts. Katie's synopsis.
The fact you're not teaching history classes at a university level is a offense.
Right. Someone hire me, please. So, in any case, I find her really, really fascinating, and I won't talk too long about it, but she's a really interesting character. So I watched the 2004 film Troy, starring Brad Pitt and Eric Bana, which is very pretty and very white and very bad. I watched a BBC adaptation on Troy, which is excellent and less white. I listened to a bunch of podcasts on it, and I ended up writing 3,000 words about Helen of Troy. I have not edited those words. So here's a poem about something completely different.
What's the best bit is as well, the write an ode to a historical woman wasn't the challenge that won. So she's written 3,000 words about Helen of Troy for like no reason.
I have spent hours this week doing it, and it's also really dark. Don't write about Greek tragedies if you're in a fragile mental state, because there's a lot of really dark stuff that happens, particularly to the ladies. In any case, so yeah, I'm going to stop talking now. So I needed a break from Helen, so I went back to notes that I'd written in the beginning of NaPoWriMo. Even before, I think. I had a doctor's appointment for something entirely routine that was just at the start of when COVID was happening, like just before the lockdown properly hit. And this is a poem that I started drafting in the waiting room. It's called In the Waiting Room. Everything was eerily clean. Bleach wetted the air, and the rubber benches had been scrubbed till they gleamed. The wooden toys were gone, dog-eared magazines too. Only the posters warning of the flu, addiction, cancer, reminded me that some things, at least, had not changed. Across from me, an elderly woman sat peacefully, her papery fingers folded neatly on her cane. We did not speak. It felt dangerous to breathe. I wondered what she was in for, sure that she deserved this space more than me. I felt my heart beating, strong. When my name was called, I almost stayed, almost kept waiting. Yeah.
Oh, that's very
Really nice.
I've written about this theme a lot this month, about like, I don't know, how to process guilt in the pandemic and different emotions and stuff. So
I find your ability to the sort of range of what you could write really interesting, like structurally, like the fact that is. It's weirdly, it's a term Colin Bramwell used the other day that I didn't know, kind of like a prose poem.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely, yeah.
That could be a part of a larger piece of prose.
Yeah.
But the delivery and structuring on the page, I guess, are what makes it inherently a poem, because there is none of that sound assonance or rhyme structures or any of that in it particularly, is there?
There's supposed to be.
No. I mean, obviously there is.
I don't emphasize it in the
but
reading. You could lay it out in a way that it would have a lot of end rhyme and assonance and stuff like that.
Right,
but
right.
no, it is certainly more prosy. Yeah, and I mean, ultimately the line between poetry and prose is so blurry and so fuzzy, and I think that we do prose a disservice when we say like, oh, that's so, poetic or whatever, and implying that prose doesn't have that sort of linguistic stuff in it. Exactly.
Yeah.
Like,
it just doesn't rely on the same.
No.
Like,
no.
yeah, I don't know, because I'm not meaning to say there's not.
No, I know.
You write very fluidly and very lyrically anyway when you write prose or poetry, but there's a real difference between that and say some of your spoken word stuff, which is
sure.
much.
I've been writing more page poetry this month. I really have not been writing spoken word, and I don't know whether that's because, for me, it takes me longer to write a spoken word piece because I incorporate the rehearsal and the sound into the writing.
It's something I think we'll talk a bit more about when we talk about Colin Bramwell's video.
Yeah.
Because I've got a lot to say about that and how he structured it as specifically a piece of spoken word. But yeah, that's amazing work, Kate.
Thanks.
And we're all very excited about your new doctorate on Helen of Troy. So
I hate her so. I don't. I love her.
Harry, you're on deck, my man.
Yep, and as previously discussed, I have nothing from this week, so I'm going to jump back and read some stuff that I haven't read on the podcast.
That's cool. I think that's a good way to go.
Yep. This is D is for dreams. When I grow up, I want to be a potato.
I love this piece. Sorry.
I'll start from the top, shall I?
Sorry.
When I grow up, I want to be a potato, an apple of the earth. Deep in soil, I'll gently slumber, a home that comes bill-free, with a landlord who nurtures my quiet abode. No wars to worry over, only peace and greens, and the gentle tapping of rain somewhere above. I'll miss you all a little, some more than most, but in silence we will languor, content with what we've got. By Perry Johnson, 28 and a half.
It's just so wholesome.
It is so wholesome.
Yep, it's all about the millennial need for escape and withdrawing into like the sort of childish nature that I think we all know all about.
It's interesting though because there's a juxtaposition there between things like the childishness, the sort of is through that lens, like even the way you sign off.
Yeah.
But then you use terms like apple of the earth, which is a translation of like pomme de terre, so,
Languor.
Languor.
So like linguistically, it's quite sophisticated, which is an interesting way to
exactly.
compare those things. That it is very much an adult looking to recapture and stuff.
Yeah.
It's nice. That's very cool, man.
I'm glad that came across.
Yeah, good job.
I'm excited for when we can book Perry for his first slot.
Right, Bex. Right.
It's gonna be great.
It has been really cool to see. I know you've stumbled at the last hurdle, Perry, but like that's not a big deal when you consider that you don't really write poetry. That you have written 27 poems or something, 25 poems this month. That's
mad.
Crazy.
Yeah.
And I can speak for the other guys as well. I know like everyone very impressed.
I would argue the quality of Perry's like 25, 27 probably outweighs the quality combined of all my 30, but that wasn't what it was about.
We'll never know, Mark, will we? Because we can't see any of yours.
Not anymore. No. You only have my word, but not my words.
And on that, actually, there will be a chance to glimpse at least a few of Mark's poems. Because what we're going to do is put together a little PDF pamphlet. It's not going to be anything, that we're going to print out or put for mass release or anything, but we're going to be able to make it available for download, and it's going to be on our Patreon channel. We'll get you updates on that as and when we put it together. But yeah, keep a wee eye out, because I think that'll be nice to see a little collection of our attempt at NaPoWriMo. I'm well amazed how well we've all done. Like, I'm very impressed in the amount of poems that got written. Obviously, the remote location in Leith, slightly better than us. But
Cut to them dancing in the other flat.
no, because I edit this, so cut to whatever I want. You think I care that they're better?
They're going to be giving us the finger right now, aren't they?
Oh, almost definitely.
Yeah.
You don't have to care that we're better, Kev. You just have to acknowledge it. So we appreciate that.
And I do, Bex. I do acknowledge it. But yeah, I guess I should do one, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I'll give you two short ones because they juxtapose quite nicely. So for the exclamation mark, I did a concrete poem, and I'm going to pop that over Mark's face just now, so you can see that. That's just going to linger there for a second, just blocking out who Mark is and his existence. Cool, and we're back. So it's to look like an exclamation mark, and this is it. I used to scream fury, every breath a fire, each word a stone, thrown through glass windows, shattering us in reflection. I know that the scream will fade, like all things. Yeah. So that's-
Cheery wee piece.
yeah. But to go on the other side of that, this is. Oh no, I need to save that for the Loudcast Extra. It's my emoji poem.
Well, I was going to check it for the people like me. What is a concrete poem?
Oh, so a concrete poem is when the written down poem is a certain shape, so that is in the shape of an exclamation mark. So the lines become sort of very slowly thinner to it until they sort of straighten out again and then hit a central point at the bottom. So
Concrete
cool. I
poetry is
learned.
often just called visual poetry. So.
Oh really? I thought it was just like not a specific shape, but yeah, it's
Yeah, that's sort of what it's meant to be. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not sure how it got the name concrete poetry.
Yeah, that's like building material, I guess. I did another concrete poem during NaPoWriMo that I really liked, which was when Bex had thrown in the idea of a palindrome poem, and so I did basically what was a clock face, so it was 12 individual lines going round, and they could be read from like any starting point in any direction. Yeah, I was really chuffed with that. So
super cool.
Yeah. What would you do, Mark, for a concrete poem?
Oh, I don't know now. Because now I'm thinking about what do I want to draw rather than what do I want the poem to be. I don't know, whatever poem makes the shape of a dragon, I guess.
Yeah,
I was about to say like Bulbasaur or something.
Well, we can see what Mark comes up with when we kick off NaPoWriMo or whatever. NaPoWriMo 2.0. No, so yeah, that's my last one from the thing. I'm not going to do the second one. You'll have to tune in the Loudcast Extra. That's how it goes. But as I was saying, there is other stuff out on the channel. We currently have up a video of Colin Bramwell, which you can check in the eye, just up in the corner. That is pure insanity. Yep. It's called Illuminati, and it's from his. It's like a excerpt from his extended spoken word show, which is Umbrella Man, which absolutely demolished the Fringe the last 2 years and is a spectacular piece of spoken word theatre. Mark, Bex, what did you guys think of it?
I love Colin, obviously, because I do like ridiculous nonsense poetry as well. And every time I see Colin perform, I get really angry because he's better than me. So that's how the world works. This was one of the first things that I'd seen where I felt like what was being performed was the kind of thing that I really wanted to do. Collins has inspired me a lot for my cow poem obsession that has happened. So yeah, oh my God, I'm just so happy just whenever I think about Bramwell.
There is something very freeing
sorry
about
to my
seeing...
boyfriend, I guess. I don't know.
There is something very freeing about seeing guys like Colin Bramwell or Andrew Blair or whatever who just write whatever they want, as surreal as it may be, and just absolutely commit into it. Very impressed by what they do. Mark, thoughts?
One of the main things, I love about Bramwell is, especially from seeing like Umbrella Man as a full show, but as well as just like it comes across in the video there, is I love how much of his performance both influences and gels with his writing. Like, because that's still an excellent poem written down, but it's just how much amplified it is by his performance. Like, it really shows, like, for me, it's a perfect example of how spoken word elevates from the page. Not to say that page is worse, but just how it can be amplified. And it's like, I think Bramwell does that better than so many. Like, it's a performance, but it feels natural.
Absolutely. I think there's, because when I watched that video, I obviously watched it a lot because I did the edit, but watching it really stood out to me how much that is specifically a piece for performance.
Yeah.
Because if you look at things like I made a couple quick notes about things of like very early on in the poem, there's a part where he repeats like checkmate and chess, like checkmate and chess, like checkmate and chess, Illuminati and the NHS, and that is a set up a 3 for the payoff. And like you wouldn't it structurally, if you were looking at it from a poetic standpoint, that's not necessarily.
Repetition of phrases has less of an effect in written down poetry, at least like 3 in a row. Like,
Yeah.
You know.
And Colin is someone who is very good at form and structure. He's doing his PhD currently in poetry. Like, he knows what he's doing about it. But seeing him and tailor it into that, things like he uses a lot of accent.
I was going to say the accent work is so stand out in that piece. And again, another thing of how it elevates it, because he gets across a totally different character, 2 totally different characters, just by changing his voice slightly and putting on a different accent, and it adds so much to the poem.
And that wouldn't come across at all if you were on a page, unless you need to maybe use italics or some sort of reference. Maybe if it was an extended piece where there was an established system for that, but that any way you cut it, there's got to be an explanation there. Whereas when you do it as part of the performance, because he's so good, he just embodies these other characters. He does a sort of, I guess, Austrian psychiatrist stereotype, and then he does Alan Shearer and stuff, and then his own sort of Scottish accent, which is his performance accent is slightly different from his own within the Umbrella Man show. So it's those sort of things really, like you said, Mark, show you where those differences do lie between spoken word and page poetry, that you wouldn't be able to achieve that same impact on the page with the poem. Very, very interesting. Kate, what did you think about it?
Yeah, I loved it. I mean, Colin is just such an innovative, interesting performer, and he's not afraid to sort of push boundaries with the satire and the sarcasm. And I mean, because hidden in the bizarre surrealness of it all, there are some nuggets of actual, like, I think he says at one point, like an hour's waiting time to get the psychiatrist. Evidence that the world is on fire. And you know, there are some actually quite sincere things in it. But no, I love work that's satirical in that way.
I think it's particularly interesting because, like, we all get that thing with comedy, right? If you don't punch down, it's not funny to punch down. I think too many people do that. Whereas Colin's very interesting because I look at that Illuminati poem, which is, I guess, on the surface of it, about the ridiculousness of conspiracy theory and but he's not attacking those people that do believe those things and stuff. In fact, he paints a very sympathetic image of people who are sad or lonely, or you know, like the bit that really rings out to me, and again when we're talking about assonance and how you phrase things nicely, is a line which is I head home in utter disgust with a pack of sensations and a meat feast stuffed crust and stuff, and there's like, which in itself is a beautiful line, but that idea of, you know, what he then paints with the meat toppings moving together and make pyramids and stuff, he's setting up an image of someone who isn't, you know, particularly happy in themselves, which is hard to do in comedy pieces, to have something underneath it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's a really good writer and performer who can balance, you know, the sincerity sort of aspect of it and the real messaging with the bizarre and the satirical.
Absolutely. I think also, I don't know if anyone, we all love Jack Hinks, the amazing Jack Hinks. But I don't know about you guys, but for me, this one really, like, that combination, and I don't know if it's because Colin is also quite a musically minded person, But that combination worked just a treat. No,
I mean, I feel like we often need to remind people that when we get poets performing with musicians at our live shows, 9 times out of 10 they have not done that together except for a quick run through before the show starts. This has not been rehearsed. It hasn't been planned. It hasn't been set out. It's just 2 people sort of working together, Jack improvising behind them on stage, and it's incredible what comes out. Like,
what's handy is I think Jack and Colin had worked not specifically on that poem, but other, they'd worked together before.
Yeah.
So like, and because they both are musicians, there's like there's a great bit in the poem where Colin has to cough, and you see him go, and he kicks back in on the Jack's beat and stuff, and it's amazing to see people who can really play off each other so well on stage. So do check out the Colin Bramwell Illuminati poem that is up. It was released a week early to our patrons, and we always put our videos out early, so you can check that out. You get for $1 a month, you get all the videos coming to you early access.
and you can make Perry smile like this.
Which is the root of all things. Also, with Colin, he is about to release a book with people we love, the amazing Stu Rhubarb, our good pals.
Yes.
And I think they just put out, it was basically Colin is part of the collective of...
The Fellowship.
The Fellowship, that's screwing up, Charlie Roy's going to hit me. The Fellowship, where they're publishing a series of books, and... Colin is going to be part of that, but the first one up is Chris Boyland, and I know another really amazing poet, Chris Boyland. He's been done some of our slams and stuff. He's around for Loud Poets Glasgow a bunch. Really talented guy. He teamed up with Sarah Grant and Fiona Liddell. Basically, all of our mates made an amazing thing for Chris Boyland, which is a great animated video. But like Bex, you've been reading the book, right? You've been checking out Chris's stuff.
Yeah. So. It's User Stories by C.D. Boyland. For those who are looking online to try and search for it, we will provide links, as there are always links for everything on the internet. It's beautiful. I mean, the pamphlet itself has just so many different sort of styles of poems. I kind of wish I had this before NaPoWriMo, because I think it would have been really helpful. But there's some cool stuff in here, and I'll make sure that you guys will get a look at it as well. So good work, Mr. Boyland, on your fabulous pamphlet. Love you guys. Yeah. You're all great.
What did you think of the video Bex they put out?
Oh, I mean, I'm a sucker for anything animated. Like, I love animation. So I just, it's good. You always know it's really good art if it makes you want to make art. Like, that's, and I think that's, yeah, that's all you can say. Like,
that's a pretty perfect summation there, Bex. I think that, like, check out the Chris Boylan video. Again, we'll link to all this stuff below, so please check out Chris, get his pamphlet, get Colin's pamphlet, buy all the poems, do all the things. From us, if you want to check out more of us, we would really appreciate it if you like this video, hit subscribe, ring the bell, all that jazz. You can also hit us up on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter. We have a Redbubble where you can get sweet Loud Poets t-shirts, I Am Loud t-shirts, and other bits and bobs from there. We have our Patreon, which we've plugged to death on this edition of the Loudcast. I think that's everything we got to plug, right, guys? Continue to check out Quarantine Cabaret, Sonic Youth, Noiriki, Look Right, the Holly McNish, all the people putting out a ton of stuff. I'm probably missing a loads. I'm very sorry, but I'm so tired.
Dan Simpson runs a free workshop every Sunday at 2 p.m.
He does indeed. Mark Grist is going to be doing some workshops for kids.
There's so much going on, honestly. Just and if you ever feel bored or like you don't know where the art is, hit up an artist, ask us. Everyone's sort of looking for ways to keep creating and keep engaging folks. So just find your people. Yeah,
and on that positive note, everyone say bye.
Bye.
Perfect. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, we'd appreciate it if you could hit the like button, if you could hit the subscribe button, and make sure to ring that bell icon so you don't miss any updates from us in the future. If you want to go that extra mile and support us a little further, we do have a Patreon channel with loads of exclusive goodies, and you can sign up for as little as $1 a month. We appreciate your help, guys, and hopefully we'll see you again soon.